So welcome back to another episode of Takucast Prime. This time it's just Koopa and myself. We had a little bit of problems trying to find a third person, so we decided just to do this a two-man group and go from there. So as usual, I'll start some of the things off. Since the last podcast we had two recordings, we had some sound issues, and we decided to scrap them. One of them might be coming in the future. Koopa's going to play with it, but the one that we did with Talia Kara, my roommate, was very long, and it's going to take way too much work to fix. But right now, I was just playing Pikmin earlier. I just uploaded the Let's Play Day 3, and of course, like everyone else in the world, and there are other $1 billion in sales, I've spent the entire day playing Grand Theft Auto, and probably most of tomorrow as well. Other than that, I haven't really put much on my plate lately. And I know that you have been playing Zelda, probably.
This is Coop. Pretty much I finished Rayman Legends, well at least the Legends content. I finished that the other day, and I just started playing Wind Waker HD, which is pretty damn pretty. It's hard to believe that it's only like a 2 GB file, and it looks better than some of the early, Wii, PS3, and Xbox games when they first came out. It's pretty nice.
It's only 2 gigs.
Yeah, it's super small. It's not even that big. It's like 1.78 or something like that.
How much data could you fit on a GameCube disc? Those little things at the time. I never looked at it.
The GameCube discs were 1.5 gigabyte discs, but the reason why they were able to have all like the PS2 and Xbox games is because they had the fastest CD drive reader or DVD drive reader.
So it layers?
Ran at. Well, no, it could compress. It can do larger compressions, and because it was able to read the disc so fast, it could compress the files really small, and you wouldn't be able to notice. So, like for instance, the PlayStation 2's DVD read speed was like 4x. The Xbox's was 8x, because the PlayStation and the Xbox, the technology to read DVDs, you couldn't really go past like 4x. And Xbox had a dual read format, so that's why the PlayStation and Xbox read speeds were kind of slow, but the GameCube had a 32x read speed, which was pretty beastly for back then. So that's why you could fit like all of Resident Evil 4 on 2 discs. So basically 3 gigabytes, you could fit all Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube, where on the PS2 it was a double layer DVD-R at 8 gigabytes. Pretty impressive.
The advantages of being the last console of the generation.
No, it was it the last? I thought Xbox was. Yeah, Xbox was the last one that gen.
Really? It was PS2, GameCube, Xbox?
Yeah, but I think it was only by... Oh, wait. No, Xbox was first?
PlayStation 2 was first. PlayStation 2 was first. Xbox came down the road. And I don't know if GameCube was...
Well, I know Xbox and GameCube were almost like right next to each other, so it's almost... doesn't even really matter. Overall, though, Xbox was significantly more powerful. I mean, it used DirectX. It had, X32 or X.
Well, it's Microsoft. They own DirectX.
Right. Well, yeah, but the system itself was completely more powerful. I mean, it was able to run Doom 3 and Chronicles of Riddick, which no other console could even dream of running it.
I never played that game.
Those are running off of... Doom 3 is okay. The Chronicles of Riddick is definitely the way better. The Escape from Butcher Bay is awesome.
Yeah, that's the one I never played.
But anyways,
it's like one of the only good video movie video games. Apparently.
Yeah.
Never touched it.
What's strange is it's never on sale on Steam. Like, because they have the Escape from Butcher Bay and then the Dark Athena, and they're never ever on Steam. So it's weird. Well, I don't understand, but if they ever do, I recommend picking it up. That's for sure.
Are they like $5, or are they still like 20 something?
I think they're like $19.99 a piece.
Fuck that.
It's worth it, but not if you have a back catalog.
Yeah, like every other person.
Which all of us do. Right. But you said you've been playing a lot of Grand Theft Auto 5. What are some of your favorite parts of it?
Franklin's special ability, which
What is it?
uh, there's three of them. I don't remember what the third one is. Well, each character has their own. Franklin, the black guy in the game, the gangster or whatever. When you're driving a car, when you activate it, it basically slows down time and gives you extreme precision for your driving. So, like if you watch the streams I have of, I think it was last night, or the stream that I just finished today, which should be on the Twitch, you can see there are times where I'm driving and like the screen will kind of go like gears of gray or gears of brown, and the car can just like do instant like 90-degree turns. But like if there's some huge chase going on and all of a sudden there's some car coming right at me, all you gotta do is hit the button, or hit the buttons. It's on the PlayStation, it's L3 and R3 at the same time, and you can just like instantly avoid everything. And then it's always fun because you'll instantly avoid one collision, and then you take your eyes off the road for one quick second, and here comes something else that just smokes you from behind, or so it hits your side, and then I don't know, it's just until you get used to the actual driving. Franklin's also a nice character they start you off the game with, because you can just hit that ability almost whenever you want. It doesn't take up very much of your ability bar, and it actually regenerates pretty fast. So you just drive down the road.
Is it only while driving?
Yes, Franklin's is only while driving. The other character, I think it's the one I just unlocked now. His is during like actual gunfights, you can slow down time. And the other one, he does double damage and receives half damage. But I haven't got that character yet. We just got two of them right now. But favorite aspect so far.
Car one.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, favorite aspect so far. Probably three things: Franklin's ability, the thing that Professor mentioned, if you jump in the air and try and punch at the same time, the ending result. You just basically.
What does it do?
You just jump in the air. If you try and punch, your character just basically gives up all physics and just ragdolls to the ground and face plants.
What? Is that a glitch, or is that meant? I mean, there's no reason why a human would do that in real life.
I don't know. There's the odd weird thing. It's not really much of a glitch. I don't know if it's just weird physics in the game, but like if you try and hop over something, your character might get stuck for a second, and all of a sudden it's like all the physics just drop and your character ragdolls over like the fence or something like that, or it's near the end of I'll have to look at the Twitch video later if it's up before we're done this, or after we're done this before I leave, and see if I can find the actual timestamp where I was showing my friend, when he was watching the stream, what happens if you jump and punch at the same time. I did it a couple times in a row in the stream. But there's that, and the most satisfying part so far is just the look and the sound of just running up to someone across the road. And if you hit, there's a punch button, a kick button, a dodge, and I think it's R2 or whatever you use to actually fire. It's kind of like, I don't know if it's just like a powerful attack or just a regular attack, but just how it's done. You just run up to someone across the road, just hit R2, and just kind of do an overhead punch, just smoke them in the face, and half the time it like kills them in one shot. And just the sound it makes when you just thumped against their face. But yeah, I'm not very far in the game. I've just been screwing around. Like, brought home the game Tuesday, like I said, after work, installed it, and that was it. Played it Wednesday night when I got home. First thing I did, once I was actually able to free roam, was find a hooker, kill her, find another hooker. We went to the strip club. It's all on the Twitch stream. There's pixelated
That's pretty cool.
tits everywhere. But
Right.
and then I went to bed.
Nice. It sounds like well, it took a lot from a bunch of different games, even their own games, like with the bullet slowdown. You know, that's obviously from Max Payne, the originals. Oh, and the last one.
Yeah.
Just not as user friendly.
The weapon wheel is nice too.
Yeah, I saw that. That looked nice. I hated scrolling through them until you found the one. If you accidentally skipped it, you had to go back.
Yeah, they haven't fixed that for the radio stations though. I always like to go to the chat station, West.
Okay, you're the boss. What's the plan?
Can't remember what it's called. It's got Laszlo in it though. I forget which game he's from. I don't know if it was from San Andreas or Vice City, but just the general parody chat station. When I was sitting there, I would grab a car and half the time I'll try and click through the radio stations, try and drive at the same time, and either crash into things or miss the station, have to start back from the start. But no, the weapon wheel's nice. It's good. It's gonna feel like Ratchet and Clank or Resistance 1 after a while, because you'll just be playing, you hit the button and instantly know where anything is on like the, I think it's like maybe 12 slots on this one. I'm not sure, I never actually counted. But you'll be going from hitting the button and trying to see which one you want to just hitting the button instantly, going at the right angle for your right analog stick, and then just have your weapon you want. But it does slow down time too, so if you want to take a minute to kind of go through your options, you can.
That's pretty cool. Nice. Well, at least you guys are enjoying. I know everybody's going crazy for it on the website. I need it. I would like to play it, but I don't want to get it and then they announce it's coming to PC.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing. I want to make sure I get it on PC.
If they do announce it, it won't be until like next year. One of my guys at work, I asked him if he was going to get it. He's like, I was thinking about it, but I'll probably wait till like a next gen version comes out or a Game of the Year edition. And I just basically told him to get it.
Right. Yeah.
And then he's one of the shippers at work, so he always drives by to pick up things, or he just drives by because he's bored. And we should just say something for a minute. And the rest of that night, he kept driving by, just kind of looking at me. I kept yelling at him to grab GTA, and then basically Wednesday after work.
He got it.
Yeah, Wednesday night after work, he got it, and I came in Thursday morning, asked him. He's like, "Yeah, I got it." And I was like, "What'd you do?" He's like, "I killed hookers."
Yeah, I had a hard time with doing the side missions. Like I don't care about the morale thing, but the biggest thing about like Grand Theft Auto is like I just want to play the story, and sometimes like it forces me to do the side missions. But I'm hearing this one's a lot better. This one isn't as because 4 was really bad at that. So I am pretty pumped. You know, people keep talking. I'm hearing a lot better things about this one than I did about 4.
Yeah, I didn't mind 4. I didn't get very far though. When you got that first bank heist that you had to basically drive across the entire city.
Oh.
It took me like almost 2 weeks probably. I didn't do it straight on, but it took me so long to get that mission done, and then I finally got it done, and then just as I was pulling up to the last thing, my game glitched out and basically crashed, and I was like, no more. And then I basically I basically shelved it for a couple months and went back and beat that mission, but then the game just died out for me. I think I maybe would have got through like a third of GTA 4. Played a little bit of the online, but you know, everyone on the websites basically purged the story. Guns done at Badger, Madrid. Now they're all waiting for the online to open up, but I'm not in a rush. I just want to be able to know where the fighter jets are so I can fly around and kill everyone.
Right. That's like the only thing I want to do. I try to do it on Battlefield, and everybody just camps the planes and stuff, so I never get them, and I don't know where the stuff is, and I don't know all the tricks they know. So I just sit there looking like an idiot for like an hour. GTA 4, I got to the point, I did like a bunch of the assassin missions, which is like probably about halfway through the game, I guess. I put a good 20 hours into it probably, and I just got tired of doing all those side missions just to progress the story, and I kind of quit. I mean, I don't mind a couple side stories here and there, but I got to a point where it's like 5 hours of the side missions, and I was like, Jesus, I just want to play the game. And then I never went back. Then I bought the PC version that came with the gay story, the gay Tony story, or whatever, and then the other.
Yeah, I heard.
I think
it was Battle to Gay Tony, which I got a lot of praise.
Okay, so that plan
Yeah,
failed.
I downloaded them to play on the PC. I just never got to it though. It's one of those games that you have to put a huge investment on, and just imagine if you put like 250 hours in, Monster Hunter Ultimate, and then your file gets corrupted. Would you be willing to go back into it? This game doesn't exist to me anymore.
Monster Hunter probably, just because it is easy to burn your way through if you want to. Just what takes up so much time is farming. But
yeah.
To destroy an enemy flag, you
I guess I was wrong. Oh well.
while your flag is there to power it.
That's cool though. I mean, I'm glad that the GTA is working out good. I know you were never the biggest fan of it, but it sounds like you're liking it now, so that's cool.
I liked Grand Theft Autos. I didn't do much of 4. San Andreas. I got in high school and played the hell out of it. The only part I didn't really like about San Andreas, well, I guess at the time, was they basically, I guess, they used the same engine for 3 Vice City and San Andreas. So while things did look a little bit better, I picked up San Andreas. It's like I check it home and like, this looks like it's like a 2-year-old game. But
Well, you have to give them credit though. I mean, San Andreas is an absolutely humongous game, so the PS2 only had so much memory, and it was pretty weak. I mean, it was the distance between the Dreamcast and PS2 was smaller than the PS2 and GameCube.
yeah.
So I give them credit. They did pretty good for what they had. But you're right. It didn't look. It wasn't. It certainly wasn't. You know, God of War or anything like that.
Well, I wasn't looking for God of War, but I was hoping for a little bit of improvement since Vice City, because it was like, it was what, like 2 years after?
At least they usually don't spam them out too fast, but they did for that PS2 era though, for 2 Vice City and I'm sorry, 3 Vice City and San Andreas.
Yeah. They were all...
San Andreas is the only one I really played to completion. None of the others I could finish. Well, no, the first one I did, but Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 is a whole different game than those other ones.
GTA 1 and 2 don't stereotype your Mexicans, I think.
Well, not just that. GTA 1 and 2 is more kind of like the traditional type of game that I just play, where I just want to play it to have fun and stuff. Where the other ones, they have that kind of, but then the way they could, just the controls are really bad on the originals, and that's probably why I didn't like them. Or on the 3D ones.
Have you ever played Retro City Rampage?
Yeah, I have it on my Wii and on my Vita, on my Xbox.
Really? It's on all those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming to 3DS as well.
I think I have it on
which will be nice because
I think it's on my
have it on
Steam.
YouTube?
I don't really know. I'll remember that I played it. No, it's on PlayStation Plus. That's where I have it.
yeah, that's when they gave it to you for free. They gave us both the PSP and the PS3 and the Vita version.
Yeah,
for
that's
free.
where I have it from. I just remember it was like a top down with a bunch of all. What's the word? I can't remember it anymore.
Like pop culture references.
Yeah, references.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's fun. I mean, it's an homage to Nintendo, Ninja Turtles, and GTA. So, and it's got a lot of stuff from the 80s. It's pretty cool. It's kind of like, have you played Guacamelee?
No.
Guacamelee is like a beat 'em up for PS3 and PC.
Oh, okay.
It's really strange though, because it's like exclusive to PS3, but it's full of Nintendo references, and there's like not even one PlayStation reference. It's strange. I don't understand, but it's a really good game. You might want to pick that up someday.
Is it like a title? Is it like an actual disc, or is it on the store? Like was
No,
it like
it's like a PSN or.
Oh, it's a PSN game. One of those little things.
Yeah.
The minis.
Yeah. Right. It's also on Vita. You can buy it for Vita, I believe. Like
I don't have a Vita.
But you don't have a Vita. Right. And with the Vita TV, I doubt you're probably going to get one, huh?
Yeah, that's
I don't blame you.
not in the stars right now. Yeah, I can do the same on the Vita coming up with the PlayStation 4 as I can with the Wii U's gamepad, but I'm not really looking for a $300 controller with overexpensive proprietary memory cards.
Right. Well, it's 200 now, but still, you're right. I mean, 400 for the console, and then 200 for the controller. And we talked about $600 before any games.
Yeah, there's nothing on the Vita that really ever made me say, hey, I want a Vita.
Yeah. I think some of the games are overhyped. I mean, like, there's some really good games on it. Like, I loved Origins, Rayman on it, but what's it called? The one with Kat. What's her name? What's the name of the game? Gravity. What's it called?
Gravity Rush?
Yeah, Gravity Rush. That game is just really bad. Like, I know everybody loves to talk about how great it is, but it's just not. Like, it's the controls. Imagine playing a game where you only have one attack really, like throughout the whole game. It's just like this little homing attack, and like you just mash that for hours and hours and hours. And I mean, some of the puzzle concepts are cool when you go up and down through the gravity, but the game just overall is not good. And I think people are overhyping it because it's one of the only like original Vita games that was successful. It's just, I think they really had a good idea, but then it's like a mini game presented as a full game, and it just doesn't feel right.
It's like
They
WarioWare.
need to fix that. Exactly, but WarioWare, exactly. If WarioWare was full price, I'd even buy the new one actually, the WarioWare, or Wario Inc., whatever it's called. I just don't like those games.
Yeah, I got the
But
one on the
thing
3DS
is-
for the Ambassador, and once you memorize it,
Oh, that one's actually good.
yeah, that one was fun. Once you start to memorize them all,
Mm-hmm.
it takes away everything.
Well, yeah, it's a party game in ways. You know, the more people you have, the better. But you know, at least though, with Gravity Rush, it's not that type of a mini game. I mean, it's still got stages and stuff. They're just. I'm trying to do that. Do you remember how like the first set of PlayStation 1 games,
Now
like
it's time for
they
the
were kind of
raid.
like arena stages? Like you would do the area, and then it would load up another stage and stuff like that.
To protect our red core,
It's kind of hard. You're probably too young.
Yeah,
damage their core.
I didn't actually get.
From our
Actually,
core to
this is
the
kind of what the article I'm somewhat
On your
working
right,
on
you can see we need to build
is
the
going to be
prime
about.
node
But
in
like
the center of the map.
my
To start
actual
that link to their
first
core.
era
If the enemy
of
already controls
gaming
the
was,
node,
well,
we
it was
have to
like this
destroy
one
it
because
first.
the PlayStation 1 I got years after it came out. My parents got it for me. PlayStation 2 was, I think, like 2 years after it came out. My parents got it for me. But like the PlayStation 3, my computer, and like the Wii U and stuff like that, I bought them all with my own money. Everything on that system I bought, and like the PlayStation 3, I got it a month after it came out. So basically, since the generation started,
Wow.
has been all like mine, as I say with the quotes. But no,
Mine?
I try to remember the. I got the PlayStation 1, and it was like I got Spyro or something with it, and
So you got like 96, 97.
I don't even know. Can't remember getting it.
Nice. Spyro was a good game to start with, though. I think when I got mine, I got I don't know if it was Tomb Raider or if it was Gex, but it just was not a good game, and we didn't play it for a long time until Crash Bandicoot, until we could afford Crash Bandicoot,
I remember saying that
and then
if you ever watch those commercials of like the kids playing video games, how they're always hands are all over the controller and going everywhere in the controller at once and looking really stupid. You never actually play a game
Right.
like that, but that's actually how I played Spyro, because just everything you had to do, you were hitting all the buttons and you were moving all over the controller, and you were rushing and you were flying,
yeah.
and you had to breathe fire, and you had to jump, and you had to glide, and you had to just everything was just one stream after another, and your hands were just going all over each button on the controller in like a certain fashion. That's the only game that's ever happened
that's
to
right.
me.
It had the it was one of the first games that supported the DualShock. That's or the not the DualShock. What would they call it before it rumbled? I think it was the DualShock. I don't know.
Yeah, I
But yeah,
think
you're
so.
right. It was one of the first ones. So
I
it
think
must have
so,
come out in
'cause-
'98 because that's when the DualShock came out.
Yeah, because my PlayStation 1 controllers had the analog sticks. I remember before that playing my friends that I haven't seen where we used to live. We saw them every once in a while, but we went down to another city where they were staying at their aunt's house or something like that. And they had their PlayStation 1, the old huge thing. I got the little small one, the mini or whatever it was. But they had the huge PlayStation, and they had the old controller with no analog sticks. But no, my PlayStation
Right,
was
right.
the small one.
Nice. Okay. So you had the PlayStation 1. Wow. So you got it really late into it then.
Yeah, before that I was N64.
Because if you got the small PlayStation, that's literally the PlayStation 1, and that was their the 2000 launch, the Millennium PlayStation 1.
Yeah, probably. Grade 6.
Yeah.
Is secure. Attack the prime
That was a good one though. My the only reason I kept the original PlayStation is because I had the Pro Action Replay, so I could play imported games. I would have traded that in for a PS1 way long ago, but PS1 was harder to. Well, so I was told. I never really invested in it.
I had a Game Shark for my PlayStation. I don't know. I don't know how. It's just one of those things that you always wonder, like, how someone thinks to get this to work. I don't know how I tried it or
Right.
why I tried it, but
Attack the enemy core.
there was some issue with my Game Shark, and like, it was kind of weird how, you know, you put the card in, you put the disc in, you load the codes you want, and then it wants you to take the disc out and put your actual disc in,
Core is
but
under attack.
somehow
Heading toward Prime
it
Node.
never actually really worked on my console. And then I sat there the one day, I was playing around with it,
Core is under attack.
when you put the disc in and starting to boot up the cheat codes, you have to sit there and listen, and when you actually heard like the PS1 make some weird ass noise when it's trying to read the disc, that's when I figured you had to
Yeah.
open the disc case, take the disc out, put your actual game disc in, close it, wait for the noise again, and then boot it. And then once I figured that out, it worked flawlessly from then on out.
That's funny. Mine,
Secure.
I had to play upside down. Like when I put in a game, I had to flip it upside down. Otherwise, it would stop spinning the disc. I think the ball bearing was going out, so I had to use the gravity to keep the disc spinning.
Attack the enemy core.
But it still works. I mean, like even I think we tried it the other day when we had some family coming over and we hooked up some systems for them and it still worked. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
There's a lot of weird things with those. I remember Takucast, way back in the day, like his PlayStation was modded, his Xbox was modded, just all that crap. But we sat there, and it was Legends Dragoon. I think this was before I actually had it though. We went to Blockbuster and rented it, brought it back, put it in his system, and then nice little, hey, you have a mod chip warning came up saying, call this number and then follow our instructions. We're just like, we have a modded system, which was, that's when we figured out you can't play games that were produced by Sony. Every other game was fine. But we're like,
Yeah.
they want us to call them about a modded system not playing their games. No.
Even as a child, you're not that stupid. Yeah, that's just ridiculous. No. Yeah, I never got the hard mods. I always just got the Pro Action replays that plugged into the serial port. But only like the first a couple years of the PlayStation 1s had that serial port where you can use a Pro Action replay and all those things.
Yeah, I never got around to it. I called a guy in my town. He had an ad in the paper, but it was pretty expensive then. At least to me, it was expensive. It was like 90 or $100 to mod the PlayStation. And I was like, I was like 11 years old. I was like, no.
Right. No thanks.
My parents aren't going to do
You know
this,
what's-
so no.
Right. Well, for the longest time, Nintendo had like the easiest. Well, when I say mod, I mean to play imports, not like illegal backups. But they had like the easiest way to play like imported games. I remember like the Super Nintendo, all you had to do was file the inside of the Super Nintendos, these like little plastic things, and that way your Famicom game will fit inside of it. It was pretty cool. And the GameCube was super easy. Like all you had to do was open it, and it was all over the internet. But there's two little points, and what you would do is you would buy like a switch from Home Depot, like just an on-off switch.
Yeah.
And you would solder that into the switch, and whichever way you switched it, left or right, would change its region. It was really cool. And I remember I had I installed the switch on the back of the GameCube, and right under the little lunchbox handle, and it was really sleek. And I just flick it, and it was pretty cool. But then I ended up buying the Panasonic GameCube, which was open region.
Attack the prime node.
Panasonic GameCube.
Yeah, it's the GameCube that plays DVDs.
Oh!
Have you ever seen it?
I think I remember it now, or if I look it up, I'll remember what it looks like. But I remember they released some upgraded version before, like, the thing died or out or something.
Right. It was pretty cool. It's worth a shitload now, but I think it was like $500, which wasn't bad because I mean that's one of the biggest reasons people bought the PS2 is because the average DVD player was like $300 anyways.
Same reason for PlayStation 3.
Yep. Yep, and the same thing, yeah. But nowadays, I mean, honestly, I don't even know. I'm surprised that the next gens, you know, the Wii U, the PS3, PS4, and the Xbox. I'm surprised they even have discs. If it wasn't for the entitled crybabies, I bet you they wouldn't if they could get away with it.
It's going that way, but at the same time, just not everyone has good internet, not everyone has good bandwidth, everyone can't go
Right.
digital. So,
That's true. That's true.
and as long as the
But you
world's
could
not,
also do with.
as long as the world's not digital, I still have a job.
That's true. Yeah, I feel bad for you. But I was talking to a friend the other day. Like, what they could do is they could just, you know, make it to where you could buy like a little cheap flash SD card, you know, with the game in it. You put it in, and it installs it onto your drive, and then you can just throw it away because it'll register online. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
That's always an idea for those people who don't have high-speed internet. But I don't know. But I'm definitely one of the few. There's a lot of people who are anti-digital, but I'm all for it. I think not only is it good for the plastics and stuff like that we're wasting, but it's
Save
just
the earth.
more convenient.
I don't mind physical. I like digital as well, just as long as it's easy to recover. 'Cause dear God,
Right,
I want
right.
Nintendo to bring that damn program into effect.
Every time they get asked, all they say is, "Yes, we know that about it, and they want it," which is funny because my brother just bought the Zelda Wii U set, and we usually share my Club Nintendo account. So I was going to
Oh,
have
you
him.
cheater.
Well, every game he gets, I buy him except for the console, so it's not really cheating. So I was going to have him, and then you can only register one game at a time anyway. So like you can't have two digital Fire Emblems.
Yeah.
Um, but anyways, I have him register on it because, like my 3DS, I have the Zelda 3DS, I have my regular 3DS, and I have my XL 3DS. They all registered, but when I try to register the Wii U, it says you can't have multiple Nintendo IDs on one Club Nintendo account, and that kind of pissed me off. But it is what it is.
That's weird.
Yeah, hopefully Nintendo will. Well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that is what they're doing. They already announced that they will bring the Nintendo ID to the handhelds. Um,
I don't want on the
so
handhelds. I want on my Wii.
well, the thing is, once they sync that infrastructure, then there shouldn't be a reason why they can't do it on the Wii's. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just want
Yeah.
the network on my Wii U, and I want to be able to transfer my Ambassador games from my 3DS to my Wii U.
Well, that might be something different because the Ambassador, that stuff's not even available to 3DS owners. A lot of it. That is sort of just a thank you for
Paying full price.
buying the 3DS. Yeah, I mean that's that stuff I would say no, but like if you bought any other eShop like Virtual Console games,
Yeah,
I bet you those will end up being backwards compatible.
probably. I would just like to be able to play
Yeah.
the stuff I have. At least some of it. I haven't
Yeah.
played the other half because some of the NES games are crap, but things like, what was it, Yoshi's Island. I actually have Fire Emblem. I never actually played it yet.
Right. Minish Cap.
Minish Cap, when they released the Four Swords for free on the 5th anniversary or
Right.
something of that game. Just a lot more of the Game Boy Advance games they gave out. I would
The
like
Metroid games are really good too.
Yeah, I like to get the Game Boy Advance ones over on the Wii U. I could buy them
Yeah.
probably, but I
they
already
already-
have them.
Right. Well, they already guaranteed that they will bring Game Boy Advance games to the Wii U. Like they said that they're going to bring it to the Wii U before they said they're going to bring it to the 3DS. So we know for sure we're getting Game Boy Advance and Nintendo 64 games on the Wii U eventually. So I'm sure they're just trying to figure out how to get that set up because the 64 games on the Wii actually upscaled to 480p because the N64 used OpenGL. So the Wii U, in theory, they might be able to upscale the N64 games again
720?
to the 1080p.
Ooh.
Yeah, probably to 1080 because the Wii U is 1080 native. The only thing is the textures will be stretched to hell,
Yeah.
but the actual resolution will be really nice. And there'll be nice crisp lines and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I
It'll
remember.
basically it'll look like on an.
Carrier
Yeah,
incoming.
I remember one of the first things I saw on the Club Nintendo was like, it was I think it was Majora's Mask. It was like 400 or 500 coins though, but
Yeah.
that was before I even had my Wii U. I was just browsing stuff. But yeah, they released some games out there. I don't even know what they have
Nintendo
right now.
creeper.
I don't even know what they have on their Club Nintendo right now. But
Yeah. They have a lot on Wii U. They already got like a good what's it 4x3, so 12. They probably got a good 24 games already from the Virtual Console on Wii U.
yeah, they'll release N64 games on Club Nintendo for you to get for free with the coins. However, they won't release them to be downloaded on the Wii U's eShop.
Well, it's because right now the Club Nintendo is Wii only stuff.
Yeah,
They're trying to phase that out, and that's what they're trying to do. But
well, they should do it faster.
there's supposed to be the fall or winter update that's coming up, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to get folders.
Yeah, because you're
Because
running out of room.
I only have one screen left. Yeah, I only have one screen left.
You can't buy anything else.
Right. And I damn sure don't want to uninstall anything, but I think we're gonna get folders. I think it's going to do a little bit of a speed increase for the loading, which I think has been not a problem as of the last update. And then the eShop's going to get reorganized. And then the last thing is I think they're going to have some type of sync with the Nintendo ID and the 3DS, and make it so you can have a Nintendo ID on that. And then we're going to see either Game Boy or N64. I don't think we're going to see both, because that if they did both, it'd be a missed opportunity to promote them separately. You know what I mean?
Probably.
Because with the Wii, when the Wii came out, they did Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and TurboGrafx when it launched. I think those are the 5. And then they added Neo Geo, and they added Master System, and then they added I don't remember what else. I think that might have actually been it, but they added them independently. I don't know. It's all speculative, but knowing Nintendo how they work, they like to go real slow so that they can make you feel really mad and angry and want to stab them.
They like to go really slow, so the few fans that they have when it finally released, they just don't care anymore.
Right. But on that note, though, since we were talking about the Zelda, it sold out in your home country.
Yeah.
all the collector's editions and all the consoles.
Oh, that reminds me, I never did put that ad up. I gotta do that later. I gotta try and put an ad up in our country's classifieds for my area and the Facebook group for my town. See if anyone picked one up and would like to get some extra money and do a little swappy. Because I really want that decal.
Right. Yeah, it's not a decal. It's inlaid. You know what I mean? It's not like grinded in, but it's like you can't feel it if you run your finger over it.
Yeah, it's just the pad, right? The actual Wii U is still black.
Yeah, it's just the pad, the buttons. Basically, anything that has any type of writing is gold.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to sit here, look at my TV, because right now how I have my system set up, I've got my TV here, and right in the dead center on the bottom is the Wii U gamepad with the surround sound center speaker behind it. But I want to be able to look at my TV and see the little engraves going everywhere.
Yeah, it's really it looks a lot nicer in person than the screenshots don't do it justice.
No. Sure reminds me, I need to get that map moved over tomorrow, because just looking at it right now, the way I have to set up, like the TV is in front of me, and then I got like the speakers on the sides. The one side of the TV has got the Master Sword and the Hylian Shield. The other side's got the Dark Link Sword and the Dark Link Shield. And then I got to move that 8-foot Zelda 1 wall poster I got, and actually put it over that wall. So it's kind of, I had to, when we redid the living room, we got to the point where I'd sit here and be like, okay, in order to get the couches like this, I need to either keep the TV center on the wall and not be centered with me anymore, or move the TV down and not have it centered anymore, but be comfier. I was kind of going back and forth, like, I'm not really OCD, but damn, I like things centered.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. It bugs me, especially like when it's like video games and stuff. You got to get that Wind Waker Collection Edition, man, on Amazon for that yen, and
Just
find a place for it.
there's I don't even have enough room right now for some of my robots. I haven't built them in a while.
Actually, I think it's sold out. Yeah, it's sold out on Amazon, at least on Amazon America.
Heading toward our core.
Let's try the good old Canadian.
Damn.
Red core is under attack.
Wow, that's crazy. I would have never thought it was sold out. Anyways, so I guess since we're on Nintendo, one thing I wanted to talk about was good old Yamauchi, the guy behind Nintendo since like 1950, and I mean literally since 1950. He was forced to take over Nintendo by his dad, because his dad died when he was like 20 or something like that. I think it was 22 if I remember right. I don't know, one of the first things he did, the way like people, I don't think people quite understand the impact this guy had on Japan and the West, and really merging Japan and America back together. First thing he did, because did you know that Yamauchi and Nintendo used to make Hanafuda cards, right?
Yeah, back when they first started. Wasn't he like the first
Right.
one who moved them towards like not cards anymore or stuff like that, but like towards actual kind of gaming stuff?
Yeah, well, he turned them into a toy company, but before he even did that, he actually got the first Asian international deal with Disney, and they put Disney cards or Disney pictures and stuff like that on their Hanafuda cards, which really turned Nintendo from just this standard everyday card company, nothing big, never anybody, into pretty much the Hanafuda company. They're still pretty much known today as being the #1 Hanafuda company in America. In Japan, excuse me. but yeah, and then he ended up making love hotels in Japan. Basically, just you go rent the room by the hour and make love. It's not uncommon for Japan, though. I mean, pretty much everybody who was anybody owned one of those back then. But then I think it was in the 60s he hired Gunpei Yokoi, which, if you remember, is the guy that made the first thing he did was he joined the super team that made Metroid, and then Kid Icarus. Then he made the Game Boy, but then he made the Virtual Boy.
And everything went downhill.
And this is where Yamauchi really got his this is where his tyrannical, or emperor, if you would, ruling started to become known, is because when the Virtual Boy failed, Japan was sort of notorious for its cutthroat business. Like, you either succeed or you're gone. But because Gunpei Yokoi was with Japan for 40 years, I mean, with Nintendo, it's also not something you don't want to just fire somebody with that type of a door. Everybody loved him, so they gave him a window seat, and
That's
a
what we
Japanese
call
term
tenure.
for. Exactly. Except though, unfortunately, in America, if you have tenure, they still let you work on important stuff, even if you're a complete dipshit. But enough of that. I could talk about that forever. But but still, yeah, they gave him a window seat. They basically let him do coloring books for like 4 more years. And then they managed him out, so he eventually quit because he wasn't part of the decision making anymore, and he went to I think it was Bandai. Can't remember what it was, but the people who make Wonder Swan. I don't have mine in front of me. So, I mean, Nintendo had no competition. I don't think there was any reason for Yamauchi to put himself at that kind of risk. Even if he had no risk and he just did it out of pride, I don't think he would have done it. It was probably more satisfactory to watch Gunpei fail with another messed up console. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Japan was back then. But I mean, but look at that though. So you're talking about the guy who he hired Miyamoto, who was an artist, and just out of a risk, they're like, here, make a game, and Miyamoto made
Donkey Kong?
Donkey
I think.
Kong. Well, actually, Miyamoto made something scope. I can't remember what it's called. Um, but he made something scope first, and that was a bomb. So then they made Donkey Kong, and the scope game did okay in Japan. In America, it did horrible. So it was Yamauchi's idea to convert all those scope. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. I don't know, but it's something scope. I'll figure it out. But he can. It was his idea to convert all of the failed ones in America into Donkey Kong machines, and Donkey Kong really just blew up. It was the next Pac-Man. You know what I mean? It was pretty huge. He's also the same guy that implemented the seal of quality. So every single game that was ever legally published on Nintendo, that was licensed, he actually looked at, he actually played and went through it and made sure it was quality. So this is why, like, all of a sudden you went from games like Atari that were just stupid, nonsensical, repetitive games to, you know, Mega Man and Final Fantasy. I mean, this guy is the reason why games went from ADD games like Pac-Man and all that stuff to full-fledged story games and all that. So consider, Final Fantasy started on Nintendo, Mega Man started on Nintendo, Castlevania started on Nintendo. I mean, just all these huge manufacturers that had to, just to be able to put their game on Nintendo, had to make a better game. So as a result, because they were forced to make these better games, they established themselves as these fantastic manufacturers. Just the impact that this man had, like, on the industry is just ridiculous. I don't think there's a single person who is in the gaming industry that does not have some type of impact because of him.
I don't even
Really
know.
good guy. I mean,
You know a lot more
it's hard.
Nintendo's history than I do.
Well, it's not just Nintendo history, really. It's gaming history. But I mean, the thing is, like, like you said, you started gaming the later years of PlayStation, so you didn't see that. When you jump on it, you probably thought, well, I'm not saying you're that naive, but
Oh well,
a
no,
lot
I
of people think Final Fantasy
I started
VII
gaming
was
20
the
years
first Final
ago.
Fantasy. Oh, okay.
Like, just I got more into it with that. Like, PlayStation 3 was like my era, but no, I think back when I was 5 or so, I never had a Nintendo. I played my neighbor, I played my friends, but
Right.
I started with Super Nintendo.
Right. Well, I mean, just think about one of your most favorite games right now is Final Fantasy, and Square was literally about to go completely bankrupt. The reason why Final Fantasy is called Final Fantasy is because it was literally their last.
His last idea.
Yeah, it was his last idea, and he went to Nintendo like 3 different times to get the game approved. So it's just those types of things, that seal of quality, that really changed everything and
That
forced
shit
developers.
was hard.
Yeah. Oh gosh, the first Final Fantasy. Jesus Christ. The amount of grinding you have to do in that game just to beat it is ridiculous.
Does Nintendo even do seal of quality anymore? Or did they quit with that?
They got sued for it.
What?
What was happening was, the fact that it's some type of, I don't know what it is. I'm not a business major. Hongo would probably know. But basically, the way they were doing it, they were going against free trade and market, which is, Japan is part of that. Whatever the practices were, they were telling companies no and no and that. So mid Super Nintendo era, they still did it, but they couldn't deny games to be made anymore, because they were literally saying, no, I won't let you put this game on my console. And that's why that's why everybody considers the Super Nintendo, basically from 1988 to 1996, the golden age of of video games, because there was like literally not a single bad game that you could pretty much buy any Super Nintendo game made from 88 to 2000 to 96, and it would be a good game. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, something happened. The whole Rising Sun movie with Sean Connery, when they were the whole America and everybody was afraid that Japan was taking over the world because they were buying stock in all these Western companies and stuff like that. That's where Japan had a bad rap then, but they did good stuff too. Like the Mariners, they're actually going to close that ball club. Like the Mariners would be gone, but Nintendo of America is in Redmond, Washington. Well, it was, and as a sign of respect, Yamauchi bought the Mariners to keep a baseball team in Washington. He never went to a game. He didn't buy it for himself. He's not the stereotypical Japanese guy who watches baseball, but he bought it just so Washington to respect Washington for letting them be in America. So I think that's pretty classy. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I thought I read something about he owned a baseball team, but never actually went to a game.
Yeah, he bought the team, but he never went to a game. It was literally just a gesture of goodwill. So that's a pretty big gesture of goodwill, right?
Well, when you're the richest man in the country, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's another thing. When the world was calling doom and gloom on Nintendo in 2008, he became the world's richest man in Japan. Oh, I'm sorry, Japan's richest man.
Yeah.
And he was valued at $8 billion at one point. That's insane, if you think about it.
Or if you want to be Asian, you can be worth like 600 billion yen.
It'd be about 600 billion yen, 700 billion yen.
I don't know. I don't know what the conversion is. I just know
it's about 100 to 1,
huge.
if I remember right.
Yeah, I had someone on my Facebook mention earlier say they posted a link of like the whole Foxconn crap with the suicide deaths around the factory, and then under that was a picture of everyone lined up for the new iPhone, basically saying the only difference between those guys and these guys are like one know that they're slaves and one doesn't know that they're slaves. I just sat there, I was like, okay, so basically Foxconn is licensed by a lot of people: Apple, Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, Google, HP, Motorola, and just the list goes on. I'm like,
anybody that sells more than
anything you have in your house or apartment that has a computer chip or a microboard of some kind is probably made by Foxconn in somehow, and they're just like, crap. No,
what sucks too is like if they don't, I mean, our stuff would be so expensive. Imagine if the PS3 was made in Japan or made in America. I'm sorry, the PS4 or the Wii U. I mean, we'd be paying $600 for a PS4 and $450 for a Wii U, and that would be a good deal comparatively. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's how much I pay for PlayStation 3. 600 something bucks.
Yeah.
But,
well, and that's the last system they made in Japan, isn't it? The PlayStation 3.
I don't know if they made it there or not.
Oh.
Did they?
I don't know if it was the PS3 or the PS2. It might be in the PS2. But Japan had, I mean, Sony had it in Japan until, I think it was the PS2. The Nintendo did it until the 3DS, I believe. And I think even some of the DSs were made in China.
I don't know. I just remember the whole reason why I brought that up was when I was looking up the companies that are cliented by Foxconn. I looked up their company information. It was something like, just because of the huge currency conversion, I can't remember what money China uses, but it was sitting there as like yearly
the yuan,
something like that. It was like
that's Korea.
It was like yearly profit or just yearly income before like their spending deductions, all that crap. It was something like $7.8 trillion. I was like, what?
It sucks, that's for sure. Yeah, but the thing is, like Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft, they all go and they do random reviews. They go and if they remember when Sony and Nintendo got accused when there was the strike and the suicides. Nintendo and Sony, even though it wasn't their end of it that was doing it, it was only Apple's. But Sony and Nintendo still went in and they did investigations and they gave the families like X amount of money. Where Apple was just like, "Fuck you guys, deal with it."
I know Apple apparently hired some odd group, but it's.
But they found nothing. Remember, we We found the conditions workable. There was some minors, and that was only in one particular night group, and they were dismissed or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I was sitting there. They were going on about the suicides. I was like, okay, yes, they work extremely long hours because they basically have to. It's China. They don't get
Right.
what they aren't able to do things easier. However, at the same time,
Yeah.
these things are massive. Like, those factories are cities themselves. You live there, you work
Yeah.
there. Like, their main factory has like 300,000 people in it. My city's
Yeah.
like 25,000. That factory is huge.
I didn't know that. That's nuts. I didn't know that.
No, there's I think there's 5 or 6 Foxconn factories in China, and they're all the other one's like 200,000. They've got like 1.3 million workers.
That's crazy. That's like the population of the state I grew up in.
But that's spread
That's
across
nuts.
the world. That's like something like 12 or 13 factories. And there's one in Mexico, one in Brazil, all that crap. But most of them are or a chunk of them are in China.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. PlayStation was made in Mexico. That's what it was.
What?
Right.
The first one?
Yeah, look at the bottom of your PS2. I bet you almost, and the first one. I bet you anything that says Mexico. Yeah, that's what it was. I knew there was something funny about the whole thing, but I forgot what it was. Well, at least the one I have is the ones I have.
Yeah, my PS2 is in some box at my parents' house.
Yeah, I don't want to go get mine. It's in some type of oblivion. I don't want to do for you. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I didn't know that they were that big. That's nuts.
Yeah,
I
they're
guess it
huge.
makes sense. I mean, if they're churning out 1 million, Wii's, Xboxes, PS4s, and iPhones a month, they gotta be pretty big, huh?
Doesn't know. I guess it all depends how you look at it. I work in a factory, and just
Yeah,
judging
you'd
what
know more than I would.
to an extent, just I know what we're capable of and the type of work we do. I don't know how long it actually takes to make, say, an iPhone when it goes through the entire production line, but
Right.
or how much room it takes up before it gets shipped out, or all the parts you need, how much that takes up. But I don't know.
Right. It'd be interesting to see like a documentary on the whole from A to Z process of like one of the video game consoles. There's not a lot of new gaming stuff to talk about. The Tokyo Game Show has been absolutely abysmal. The Sony show, I mean, I think the thing that they did before the Sony show that had the Vita price drop, the Vita TV, I think that was a bigger impact than what they did at TGS. And TGS is usually Sony's, stomping ground. They usually kick ass there.
Yeah, I'm not really
I
sure.
mean, I think the biggest.
Not really sure what it was. I was trying to look up some TGS news, I think earlier today, or maybe the first thing this morning. I don't remember, but I saw like a picture of like this huge empty, like it almost looks like a warehouse or like an auditorium, something like that. But it was mostly empty, and there's just like a huddle in the corner. And I don't know if there's just like troll bait in the article or something like that, but they said like that
Probably.
like that corner there, or like the line of people are like that was Sony's little thing. I was like,
Yeah.
huh.
Yeah, Microsoft had longer lines apparently. But the longest line that I did see though was the Final Fantasy 14, believe it or not. That had like a line was 2 hours wait just to play a game,
You can play it at home.
and I believe it was on PS4.
Oh. Well, we
Yeah.
knew it was coming.
So that's kind of cool. Right, right. There was some news. I mean, they talked about The Last Guardian.
Oh, did they?
You, yeah, Yoshida said that. Here's the quote:
It
"The
still
team is still
exists.
there." Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Basically, I mean, I could read this quote verbatim if you want, but essentially, he's saying they're still working on it.
Just the old-fashioned. What was it? Oh no, that was.
Well, this one is the team is still there in SCE Japan Studio. Ueda-san is there still, but we are still waiting for the time to reintroduce it. So basically, yeah, we know you want it. It's going to be a PS4 game. We just don't want to acknowledge it yet.
Yeah, it's the same as. What company's making Knack?
Uh,
'Cause I think it was.
I don't know.
I think it was that company, or it was.
Studio Japan.
No, I don't
I
remember.
think that's what it is.
There's a game
Because
coming
it's the
out
same
though.
people that.
It was just basically saying, yeah, you want this game, we're working on it. However, this game and this game have most of the attention right now. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, it's Studio Japan or Japan Studio or SCE, whatever you want to call it. Because they're the guys that were making The Last Guardian.
And yeah,
they're also
then they went
making
to Knack or
Knack.
something. Yeah, so they basically
Right.
temporarily scrapped Last Guardian to get Knack out the door or something. I remember that. Made a
What do you
bit
think of
an
Knack?
uproar. Is it?
Be honest now.
I've only looked at the one video at E3 when we were all sitting in the Steam chat, I think.
Oh, right.
It looked kind of interesting. I don't know if it resembles a lot of like Wonderful 101 to me or not. I haven't played the game. I haven't seen much of the game itself, like of either of them. But just,
Right.
it looked kind of weird for like, here's a PlayStation 4, all its advanced features, and this is what our first game we're going to show you looks like.
Here's our primary game for the PS4 that I don't know. I think I was watching the cutscenes look really awesome. The graphics looked pretty. The character's kind of cool with all the different particles and stuff that he has, all the different on-screen polygons, the physics. But when it shows the gameplay, it looks like they got Crash Bandicoot 1, and the mechanics for Crash Bandicoot 1, and they didn't change them at all, and just threw Knack in it. Because the gameplay for Crash Bandicoot was really good when it came out. I mean, it certainly wasn't as good as like Mario 64, but it was really good. I mean, comparatively 3D games are terrible back then. But like you try to make a new game with Bandicoot controls today, it looks like when he punches, it's super slow and it's stiff. The reaction time, like when you jump and land, there's a brief pause. There's just those small things that just are unacceptable with games nowadays. Like there should not be an animation pause between jumping, landing, and then moving again.
Yeah.
It should be smooth, and it looks like it's going to be a gorgeous game. It looks like it's going to be a fun, Pixar style story, but it looks like it's another we thought about gameplay last. Even though like the whole point of it is to destroy things, and whatever you destroy becomes you, and your elements are based off of that. I mean, that's a lot. That's nothing new. Cameo kind of had something like that, and to me, it's like they shoehorned this project. They threw CERN's name on it because he's the big guy and he made Crash Bandicoot, and people have been wanting a new Crash Bandicoot lately. And I think they're just taking advantage of their Sony loyalists.
They just don't have the license. That's Microsoft now, isn't it?
I'm sorry?
Does Microsoft own Crash? The IP?
No, Activision does.
Oh. So they can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah. Yeah, the last Crash Bandicoot was on all three consoles. It was on PS2, Xbox. Actually, no, it was on. It was on PS2, Xbox, and GameCube. And then Spyro also owns Activision, believe it or not. And that was on PS. I think that was on Xbox 360. Was the last Spyro game.
Kind of wonder why Insomniac got rid of that license. I can see why now, because the games have gone downhill. However, PlayStation 1 era.
Not really. They haven't sold, but the games are actually pretty good. I mean, if you ever find an old copy of the Spyro games, they're pretty good. The Game Boy Advance games are really good. The Skylanders are really good games too. Like I know they look silly and childish, but they're actually like Diablo style dungeon crawler RPGs.
Oh yeah, that reminds me.
They're
How's the Disney?
I never got it.
I thought you did. I thought you downloaded it.
No, I couldn't remember because
You
you
need
have
the
to buy it
figures?
in the little starter package. Yeah,
Sucks.
yeah, it does. But it's okay. I'll get it. I'll get it eventually. Apparently it's selling really well, and it's going to be fun. And if I get it, I kind of want to wait until more people get it because it's supposed to be pretty fun online stuff. So we'll see.
I'm not getting it.
I know you're not. Exactly.
too many things, too many console peripherals or accessories. But
Well, you bought GTA, which you weren't initially planning on buying, right?
I was gonna get it eventually.
Well, I mean, not at launch though.
I was on the ball about it, kind of going back and forth. Like I still
okay.
need to play Pikmin, but like Tally's off tomorrow, and then he works. I'm off the entire freaking week. But whenever like he's at work, I can pound out another day or two. I wanted to get more than one day up today, but I went the wrong way when I went back to the third day level. So I was just basically sitting there. If you watch the video after this or later, you can see me just sitting there. I killed the boss, grab everything, run back to like the spaceship. I'm just sitting there. Timer's going down to like 5 seconds, and the fruit just gets in that circle. It goes down to 1 second,
Nice.
and the cell phone and the boss are still outside. I'm like, fuck. All right, start, reset
well, if
the
you go
day.
back, it'll be at. Well, if you go back, like the amount of damage you put towards the boss will still be saved, so it's not like you have to start over.
Wait, what? What do you mean I have to go back?
Like if you go the next day, like say you're on day 3 and you're fighting a boss, the day ends, and you go back on day 4 and you fight the boss, his energy will be at the same level it was when you left it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The only thing is though is when the time runs out, if you don't have all your Pikmin selected,
That's
your
most of the
group,
reason
you
why
lose them.
I had 100 Pikmin in my group, but when the time was down to a second, I only had about 15 of them in the circle.
Have you ever had it where you lost one Pikmin and your spaceship falls out and the poor little guy is all by himself? Like, oh, what the hell? Where'd everybody...
That's actually kind
And
of
then
that's kind of funny. You need to watch my the Let's Play Day 3 I just put up, because that's what happened. I sat there. I had 99 in my group, and one was somewhere else. I looked at my map everywhere. I couldn't find him. I was like, you know what? I can try and find you. I think I might know where you're on my map, but I've got like 15 seconds until the day's over. So I'm sorry, little rock Pikmin. You served your duty. I got to go. And then they all flew away, and then you see the little rock guys start running up to the spaceship, and they're gone. And the little creature comes up behind him, and then it goes to bite him, and then the screen goes to black. I was like, oh, he's dead.
Oh, it didn't actually eat him?
No, it cut out just as he was coming down on top of him.
He got lucky. Sometimes he'll actually eat them, and you're just like, oh, not my Pokemon. It's a cool game. I need to watch some of your things. I'm a little behind on them, but
Well, I've only got
because
three.
I'm lazy.
I've only got 3 days up, and usually they're about 20 minutes each. The third one is, I think,
Right.
was 37 because I messed up. But when I came
Are
back,
you starting to feel the addictiveness?
well, I'm at the point now where, like when I first played it that one night, I did the first 3 days. So day 4 is new content. I don't know what's coming up, but
Oh, okay.
that video was a little bit longer because I messed up. And then when I went back to the second attempt of day 3 when I had to reset it, I skipped through
yeah.
like all the cutscenes and all those little damn data discs. So it actually made the day go by a little faster. But
I remember, it's so you can't expect to do every mission in one day. I mean,
oh
there's
god,
going
no.
to be a lot of there's going to be a lot where it takes 3 to 5 days. I think the last boss took me almost that whole mission probably took me like a good 10 days. I think maybe not that many, but pretty close.
Yeah, but in a case like mine where you have 3 seconds left and you have like 8% of your army in the safe zone,
Yeah.
I was like, reset.
Just remember, like, if you have those seconds, all you have to do is whistle at them, and once they're whistled at, even if you're not at your ship, you can still save them. Like, you don't have to go that circle. As long as they're in your party, you'll be saved. They'll be saved. Yeah. The more you know, right?
A little bit.
That's how Pikmin is. It's one of those things where you sort of just figure out things as you go, because Nintendo's like that. They can never be accused of holding your hand for a game.
It's Mario.
It's right. It's like, here's the stage, figure it out. I'm gonna go smoke.
Anyways, I remember I was saying, okay, disperse is useless. It scares them away from me, but it does nothing. And I was like, I'm gonna go use this by this wall. like all 100 of them all bash against the wall and basically obliterate it.
Right? You had that "this is glorious" feeling, huh?
Yeah, and then just as I was finishing day 3, I realized if I like not really shake, but if I move the Wii pad a little bit in one direction, it'll automatically disperse. Like I don't have to hit the B button; it'll do it itself if I move the Wii pad. Because I was playing the game and all of a sudden my character would spin and all Pikmin go everywhere. I was sitting there, I was like, "What the hell's going on?" Like I didn't hit the B button.
Well, also if you hold L, I don't know if it's LZ or RZ, but if you hold it at something that you can attack, like a wall or a boss, and then you do the disperse, it'll actually, every single one of them will attack that spot, so you don't have to get right next to it.
Oh, okay. I'll play with that.
Yeah, it's going to be really good on some of the later bosses. Really, really good. Yeah, keep that in mind. But dang, we're almost at an hour. Most of it was just reminisce talking.
Yeah, pretty much. We're past the hour mark anyway. There was a time earlier. I'll leave this part in just for kicks, but I'll have to edit it earlier because when I was looking up the Bandai company that...
Wonder Swan?
Yeah, I was looking at Wonder Swan, and Chrome crashed, which cut off my audio, or cut off the recording because Chrome was depending on fraps. But I'll have to play with that. But other than that, everything else is fine.
Well, I'm sure there's a couple things that you're going to want to cut out anyways.
Yeah, here and there.
But at least this one was more on track than before.
Yeah. I want to try and get them as little editing as I have to, just make them a little more interesting, but... Oh yeah, I remember. I couldn't find... I didn't look too hard, because you can hear keyboard clattering if I try and search things up with this microphone, but I couldn't find that just yet. The deluxe version of Wind Waker that comes with the Ganon thing on Amazon.
Oh, right.
However, I did find 5 Wii U deluxe sets for Wind Waker combo. They are actually on Amazon still.
Nice. But would you really want to do that? What would you do? Buy it?
Oh God, no.
Swap it out and like trade it in? Oh.
I'd lose Pikmin.
No. I mean like buy it, swap out your gamepad, and then resell it.
Oh. No, screw that. I was just looking online because you mentioned like they were sold out, and I was like, huh. It's saying here, this one is a lot more expensive.
Well,
however, it's not sold by Amazon.
Amazon is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amazon's not really considered a retailer.
However, there was 5 for sale. 3 of them were sold by Amazon for $300, and one of them was sold by someone else for like $370. I don't know what the last one was, but there was 3 of them being sold by Amazon themselves.
That's still not bad though for a console that's not doing well. It sold all of them but 5 in less than 2 days. It's not bad. Look at Monster Hunter, and in 2 days they sold 2 million. That's ridiculous.
I want that game on the Wii U. Hopefully it does.
I'd rather they just do that and just give us all new Monster Hunter, like with HD graphics. Because if they bring the 3DS one, they're not going to be able to redo all the visuals and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll upscale it somewhat, but
it'll look a little bit better.
Say,
just if they do that, like they'll bring over Monster Hunter 4, and then if they do bring it to the Wii U like they did for 3 Ultimate, I wouldn't mind it if it's like a minor upscale. However, I would like to have the frame rates even, because apparently the game on the 3DS is smooth as hell, and the game on the Wii U is a little jaggery at times.
Is it?
Oh, it's kind of hard because I don't have a frame rate going or a frame counter going all the time, or even when I'm playing the game. But there are times where it just looks like it could run a little smoother, like if it wasn't a port and it was actually developed like on the system. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. We need to play again soon because Panama has it now. So me, you, Panama, could go do a 4-man party.
There we go. I'm definitely the lowest level of you guys, so I'll just be in the background, not getting raped.
Yeah, we're gonna have to try and speed you through some levels again so you can go with us, because Panama, I guess, has it on the 3DS. I think he was just starting the high rank stuff, which is actually kind of near where you are.
I need to play a little bit too to get back to the controls because they are a little different than the average game.
Yeah, when me and Drid played for that last cast, I got the video for. It took like, I don't know, like maybe 20 minutes to fool around, but it didn't take that long.
Yeah. And in a party, it's not as bad either. You know, unless you're swimming, it's pretty quick to get hold of it. I hate the swimming mechanics in that game so much.
They're like, hey, this is
It
Monster
doesn't
Hunter
matter.
3, you can now swim. Okay. Go fight
We're
Laggy
gonna
and
eat the most.
get owned.
It's not even laggy that's bad. It's the guy that's like that hides in the mud.
Gobble, I think.
Yeah, he's the one that pisses me off the most.
He's not that
Because
bad.
at least Laggy, well, at least the Laggy and the Serpent guy, they come out of the water eventually, you know.
Somewhat. But when they stay in the water, the entire fight and get pissed off and just start going back and forth and back and forth. Same with Rathalos is easy to fight, however, when he decides to spend half the fight in the air or just gliding back and forth.
Yeah. That's true. I'm still on like the introductory level of those bosses, so I guess I don't have a lot to really talk about as far as hard, you know.
Well, some of them I wouldn't say are hard. They like hit harder
Annoying.
and things like that. Well, yeah, some of them are annoying.
Well, like what is the one that looks like a big dog and rolls around? It looks like a big lion, maybe. I don't know.
Crap.
He's like really big and like he attacks and then he like rolls on you.
Is he full of electricity?
Not initially, but sometimes he poisons you if he rolls on you. I guess they think they have like the purple one of him too.
Luderoth?
Yeah,
Look like a
that
dog.
guy's. I hate that guy. What? I don't know what he is.
Is he like a giant lizard?
Man, you're lucky I'm not calling him a Pokemon.
Just call him by your Pokemon name and might be able to figure it out.
Right? I can't even think of a Pokemon that's even remotely close to him.
I don't know, there's 649 of them. There's gotta be one.
Right. Well, let's call him Ditto, so we can find it. But no, I mean, what else? Is there anything else really? I mean, there hasn't been a lot of news. Usually this time of year, we're usually. I wonder if Microsoft and Sony blew their load too early.
They,
I mean, there's like nothing that came out, and Nintendo too. I'm going to say, you know, though Nintendo's really good at keeping secrets, so they could still surprise us.
yeah.
They did say that they want to get out a preview of the new Zelda before the end of the year, and I don't mean Wind Waker. I mean the new Zelda.
The new Zelda they're gonna make, which
Right.
will probably
Even if it's just a
cel-shaded,
screenshot,
too.
I'm sure they'll make all. Nah, it won't be. Not with Anuma talking about how much he's been watching Skyrim and all that. If he makes it more realistic and lots of side missions, that's fine. But I really don't want it to be, this whole open world, no games type of feeling. Because my problem with Skylander is like, when you find an item, you don't feel like you accomplished anything. Where like Zelda, you usually have to do this crazy puzzle or you know, do this crazy thing, so you really feel like you earned the gauntlets. But with I keep saying Skylander, but I mean
Skyward
Skyrim.
Sword.
But no, I meant because Skyward Sword is really good
Oh,
too.
Skyrim.
What I'm saying is I don't want Zelda to be like Skyrim, because in Skyrim, like the only accomplishment feeling comes from is just killing a really hard boss. Where Zelda, like, what happens with Zelda is you look at a mountain and you see like, hey, what's that weird dark spot in the mountain? And you walk, and then you realize, hey, look, I found this crazy cave, and I have to bomb this tree, and then use my hook shot, and then I have to do all these little puzzles. Oh, look, I found a grave that I pushed, and it has a hook shot in it. With Skyrim, it's all, hey, look, a dungeon, it's random. Hey, look, a guy I have to kill. Cool. Hey, look, he has a key. I'm gonna go turn that into this and trade 7 other items till I can get this special advanced spell. And
Let's
like,
go
that's
make
just
the
not
bigger
Zelda.
on sword.
Right, yeah. See, I like missions like the Big Round Sword because it's not just collecting items, but it's like, hey, this guy, he needs eye drops. Okay, go to this other guy who steals people's eyeballs. You know what I mean? And like,
But you
and they
can't
have these
teleport because
crazy
you're running
little-
out of time.
Well, they rot, yeah. I think there's a certain appeal of Zelda, and Skyrim does not come close to it. I mean, it's a different game. Not that it's a bad game, it's just a different game.
Yeah, like that tech demo they had, which had like the Ocarina of Time link that had Navi. It looked really good and interesting. I would like to play a game like that with like that kind of graphics, but at the same time, those kind of graphics look kind of weird. That Link just looked really weird.
Well, it's because the thing is Link is not supposed to, and never was supposed to be realistic. Like, even if you look at Ocarina of Time, like they had the stereotypical like Chinese face for some of the characters when they were making fun of the character. Like, you know what I'm talking about? They had like the open mouth with the big teeth, like for the characters whenever they wanted to insult a character because Japan hates China. You know what I mean? So they no, this is, I mean, that's what they're supposed to be. And then think about the jogger guy, right? Like, if you really think about those games, you cannot call them serious. You just cannot call them realistic. You can't say, oh, it's just because the graphics couldn't do it. Like, if you really look at those games for what they were, they still had its own independent image. So you're never going to get Skyrim graphics in a Zelda, because that's just not what Zelda is.
Oh, I'm not looking for Skyrim graphics, just that tech demo with like all the, I almost want to call them Zubats.
Right.
I don't know what to call them.
What do you mean? Like, talking about the Gorma, the spider?
Yeah, the little
Or
tech
talking
demo.
about the keys?
The keys, that's what they're called.
Oh,
they're
okay,
flying,
the bats?
they're flying around. They look good. There's like particle effects everywhere. I did like I did like the original sounds they used, but
Yeah. It's definitely a throwback to Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. That's for sure.
I did
think they're gonna
laugh
go that
though
style, though.
I did laugh though when that spider came down. It did something and then it turned around. It's like, hey, here's a hole in my ass. I wonder what you have to do with it.
Right? Well, that's Zelda, right? It's not just a hack and slash until you beat them. You have to find their weakness.
You have to find it, but at the same time, they basically tell you, like, hey, here's
Well, what game doesn't?
Here's Ganon with his rainbow tail. Something's not right here.
Well, look at Shadow of the Colossus. The guy freaking has steps on his body. I mean, come on. If that doesn't say climb me, I don't know what does.
Yeah,
So I think every
entire
game
says
has that. I
climb,
mean,
you
if yeah, exactly. Well, and then when you get to the top of it, the only bod spot is the part you have to stab. So, I mean, if they didn't, you would have I mean, then it'd be like Zelda 1, where you just have no effing clue what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like, ever. Which I wouldn't mind.
I just spent 15 minutes climbing this monster trying to figure out how to get up here. And I'm going to stab a shiny spot. It's always on the back of his head. Always on part of his side.
Right.
And if they got wings, there's always one on the wings.
Right, exactly. Definitely Shadow of the Colossus. But the cool thing about Zelda 2 is they'll have, like, for instance, like the spider. I think his name is Gamora or Gamora, something like that. But when you fight him, like, you look up and you can hit him in the slingshot, you can hit him in the eye and do the back and forth, fight like that. That's the one that they make completely obvious, right?
Yeah.
On Ocarina of Time. But then you can also use your Deku Seeds, and it freezes him, and then you can unlimited attack him and kill him in like one shot. So, like, every boss always has like a secondary attack. Every enemy always has like more than one way to kill him. Every temple has like multiple ways to get through it.
I remember.
So, I mean,
I remember doing it the first time,
No, go ahead.
the fire temple, just because the game. I can't remember what I was doing. I became an adult. Somehow during the forest temple, I got stuck. Just because when you walk in, there's the path in front of you, and the path to the right and left, but then
Right.
the 45-degree angle one has the block with the block of time basically, and one had the spot with the arrow. Somehow,
Right.
I walked around that temple for hours, and I never found the block of time. So eventually I did, and I got through the temple. But after getting stuck
Right.
for hours and couldn't find anything, I even looked at like my Zelda guide, the player's guide I bought with it. It's like it didn't tell me anything. I was like, crap. Okay, so I want to become a kid again. So maybe if I go do another temple, I'll be able to become a kid. I go to the fire temple. I go through that all. I beat the temple. I never get the fire tunic because I didn't do this quest beforehand because I didn't have the option yet, which was a little interesting, trying to get that done with the fire tunic. And then I come in, I get my medal, I walk in the pedestal of time, and Sheik is still there. I was like, fuck.
That was that's like the first temple you go to when you're an adult, isn't it? Or is it the second? I think it's the first.
You become an adult, and then he has you go to
You go check
Kokairu
get
Village.
Sarya's song and dance for him and all that
To Sheik? No.
for the
That's,
Goron to get to the fire temple.
Fire Temple, you go into their village, then you... what is it? I remember you go in the village,
That
the kid's running around, going around in circles and circles and circles, and you have to bomb him, and he says, like, he's the mighty Link, or whatever you want to name your
Right.
character, and his dad named him after you, and then, he doesn't give you the tunic.
I thought you go into the Great Master Guy's room, you play the song, and he moves out of the way so that you can move the door. But then you use his torches in his room to light the torches in the room where that spinning pot is. And once you light the spinning pot, it stops, and then you can go back in and light another stick and light the bombs that are on the left and right side of the shop, and that's where you buy the tunic.
That's what I did. I bought the tunic, but you actually do get a free one. You just gotta do something.
That's sick. See, that's what's awesome.
I remember the first time I was like, I didn't know if I knew the way to get the free tunic at the time, but I was like, I'm just gonna, like, I got the fire going, I'm just gonna blow this hole in the wall or the door and go in. I bought the tunic, and then I think it was not that far later on, it was like, here you go, here's the free tunic. I was like, oh well.
That's bullshit. Well, that's cool. See, that's what I like about it. There's always more than one way to get stuff. Like, it's the same thing with, like, you can get the fake Big Goron sword, or you can get the real Big Goron sword.
It's a fake one. What?
Yeah, the one that breaks.
What?
There's the one that'll break and the one that never breaks.
Oh, the one from the huge Goron, or the larger Goron that's hidden inside that maze inside their village. I think I remember.
Well, that's the same one. It's just when you see him on top of Death Mountain, he's in the future and he's just on the top.
Oh,
But
it's really, really big.
yeah, he gives you one. He gives you one that's not made right, and that one breaks. And then if you actually do the quest, and you know, because you have to use the broken one to make a new, like, print or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
But some people stop at getting that one, thinking that it's the one, and so a lot of people don't even know you get one that doesn't break. Well, they would if they read it, but you know how that works out.
No one reads tooltips.
Right.
Same thing as in
It's
Majora's.
really cool. Ocarina of Time had the...
Let's say it's the same thing as Majora's Mask. Like, the first thing you always want to do is get that damn winter temple done, so you can do that damn race and
Oh, yeah.
get the gold sword, and then you're good for the rest of the game.
The one that looks like a saw.
No, the one after it. You upgrade it, makes it look like a saw. It's good for like 100 cuts. But if you have the gold dust from the race, it takes all 3 days. You basically need to do one little playthrough just for that sword. But you get the gold dust, and
Right.
they make it like the ultimate version. So
Right. I like that they've always done that with all the Zeldas. The only one that they didn't do that with was Skyward Sword's really well. Wind Waker a little bit too. But
There's no
usually, like, you
upgradable
get
version?
different levels of swords. Well, no, I mean, there's two that you can get. I mean, and I mean, of course, the Master Sword, right? It's Zelda,
Okay.
but it's not like, you know, because like in the Links to the Past, you get like 3 or 4 different swords, and in the first Zelda, you get 3 different colors. Zelda 2, you level up your sword. Wind Waker, you level up, you get level 1, I mean, sorry, not Wind Waker, Link's Awakening, you get level 1, level 2. Oracles of Ages and Seasons, you get different swords.
Yeah, well,
Um,
it's also the whole, not the whole point behind it, but it's Zelda. It's the Master Sword. It's like the ultimate weapon
Right.
against evil. So you don't really need anything else.
right. Well, Skyward Sword is different because it's
You have
like
to
the
make
origin
it.
story of the Master Sword.
Yeah, you make it.
Yeah. So you're working with Fee and you're working with your sword, and it does get different levels and stuff like that. But like, you know, on Majora's Mask, you know, and Ocarina of Time, the Master Sword is not technically the best sword in the game. But in Skyward Swords, it is the best sword in the game.
Yeah, once you finally get it done. But we'll save those for
Right,
later because I
right.
still gotta play the goddamn game. I want to do this chronological little marathon, but not marathon stuff.
I hope they bring it so that you can get the chance to play it and see what it is, because it's a really good game.
Well, it's on my list. Of course, I want to get it new so I get the damn coin code. But Nintendo being Nintendo, I'm pretty sure it's still probably like, what, 40 or 50 bucks?
Yeah, Nintendo games don't ever devalue.
Not very
It's,
fast.
it's because they sell so much. Like, you trade it in and they sell right away. So GameStop never lowers what they're worth. You know, people have this misconception that it's Nintendo that decides what its used prices are, and that's absolutely not what it is.
Well, not just the used prices, like also the new price. Like, used price at
Right.
GameStop is always like $3 less, which is just incredibly stupid.
Right.
But even like going there and like, I haven't actually looked. I'll need to go maybe tomorrow if I go to the mall during my travels and see what they sell Mario or New Super Mario Brothers for. Because you told me it was 30 bucks on the e-store. It was still 60 bucks at the actual physical store. But
Wow.
like even when Electronic Arts said we're not doing Game Passes anymore and got rid of them all, I went to the GameStop in the mall. Sankius, one of our members, my sister's fiance, he just quit there. He was the assistant manager, but I looked at him, I was like, EA stopped selling these online passes, and you guys still have them on your shelf. And he's like, yeah. I don't know.
Well, I'd still say don't buy Twilight Princess yet. I mean, Skyward Swords yet. Give it a year. See what's going to happen next E3 if they're going to make an HD version of it.
Oh, but I want to play the series. It's so
Yeah,
long
I
way.
know, but you're just going to end up buying it twice then.
Well, at the same time, that'll be a year down the road. I don't know. I really want to play Wind Waker eventually. I gotta get Pikmin done and get GTA to my system a little bit. See how that online version is. And of course, Final Fantasy 14. Can't forget about that. Haven't played that in a couple of days.
I forgot I even had that.
Yeah, you haven't logged on in a while.
I told you, I'm bad with MMOs. Like, they just don't interest me much, no matter how hard I try.
Why don't you buy the game?
Because I thought I was going to play with you guys, but you guys got so far ahead of me that it's like not even worth it.
Well, at the same time, all you gotta do is change your weapon, and you're back to square one. Like, I got one class that's like level 35. All of my rest are non-existent, or like level 10.
Yeah. See, like, mine's like level 11, I think. So it's funny though, because it's only like maybe 5 hours of gameplay that it took to get to it, but it just feels so tedious.
Oh, does it ever
Get
slow
to it
down
for
after
some
like
reason.
20 something? Like, if you know what you're doing, it's incredibly fast. Druid seem to level up pretty fast, but we're just sitting there. It's got like level 24, 25, and you get like one level every 2 hours. I was like,
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun at all. No, it doesn't seem like it takes a long time to level up. It's like, because like I said, I mean, I'm level like 11 or 12, I might even be higher than that. I just don't remember. But it's just that I only put in like 5 hours. It's just that it just doesn't feel like there's much context. Like I don't feel like an end game. I don't know why I'm doing everything I'm doing because I know it'll never end.
I don't even know half the story. We were hoping for actual like a lot of voicing so we could listen to them talk, but right now we just click a.
Right.
There is a little bit of voicing in the main story for some parts of it. Everything else is just all text. So we're just sitting there. You accept the quest. We just click, 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 click. Open up a map, find out where it is, go there, and do what they want, and come back. So half the story, I don't know what's going on, but it's still entertaining.
Right.
Watching my character jump around everywhere now.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't like usually care about story that much, but like because MMOs are so turn-based, like there's only one other thing that I mean gameplay is really not very solid on RPGs usually. It's not like a primary focus, you know. When was the last like other than Kingdom Hearts, I think that's like the only RPG that your skill actually affects whether or not you can proceed in the game. Or like, you know, Final Fantasy, really, as long as you map the spells and do attack, you're pretty much going to beat them as long as they're within a certain level.
I would almost say kind of Legend Dragoon, that's still turn-based, but just because it's kind of like Legend of Legia, where your attacks were all combo system. You messed up, you're not going to do very much. It horribly slows your progression. And there's one boss that ends up joining your party, the Gigantico. If you messed up your combo fighting him in the 2 or 3 fights you do where he is a boss, he counters instantly. And it's not a counter that you can block, he just grabs you and he just pummels your ass. So you have to do every attack perfect against him on those fights.
I don't remember seeing. I haven't really seen any type of combo-based benefits from Final Fantasy 14.
It depends what class.
And I'm a monk.
Yeah, you're a monk, so you change forms. I don't know if there's much difference in that one besides for certain forms doing something, but I know for like Lancer and Dragoon, I've got my opener, which then can be comboed into another attack. I don't have to do it that way, but when you combo into that attack, it does more damage, and then opens up the 3rd level, which does more damage if you go through the entire combo system. You can use any of the skills whenever you want.
Oh, I have noticed something.
Like I can use any of my.
Yeah, I have noticed something like that.
I can use any of my skills whenever I want. However, if I do it in that order, it does more damage proficiency. And then later on, right. I think in the later 30s, which I'm going to hit soon, or in the 40s, where that kind of like branches out into like 2 or 3 different variations. You'll have to sit there depending on how the fight's going and do your opener, and then if you're in this situation, do this attack. And if you want to have like this dot happen, you got to combo into it, so you got to do this series of attacks. Or if you want to have this one happen instead, you're going to have to combo into this series. But I only got my pug list to 15 because on the beta, you had to be a pug list and a Lancer to become a Dragoon. However, when the retail launched, they changed it to Marauder. So I got to 20 on the beta for my Lancer, and then when the game actually launched, I leveled my pug list to 15. Got my Lancer to 30, and I was like,
is that how they say it in Canada? Pug list?
That's how I just said it. How's it supposed to be said?
Well, I mean, I've always been taught it's pugilist, but I mean, I just wondered because some countries just say it different, and I'm not judging you.
I don't know. I've never been told how it's supposed to be said. I just pronounced however I saw it on the screen. So I don't know.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. No, you can continue.
But yeah, so I sat there, leveled it to 15, then leveled my Lancer to 30. I'm like, all right, let's go become a Dragoon. I go with my NPC. There's no quest there. I'm like, look it back up. They changed it to somehow, or at some point they changed it to Marauder 15 instead of the Pugilist, Pugilist thing. Look on the forums, and I'm not the only one who got fucked by it. So I was like, Alright, so this will be it for this episode of Takucast Prime. Be sure to check us out on our YouTube for more podcasts and other videos that we will have up. Subscribe to our channel, like us on Facebook, and be sure to check us out at www.takuchat.com. On behalf of King Koopa and myself, Phantom Link, we hope you had a good time, and we will see you next time. Koopa, myself, Phantom Link. We hope you had a good time, and we will see you next time.